Hey, Dice Rollers, Paul here, and I'll be your DM for a little while. Every dungeon master knows that feeling. The session ends, and you wonder, could I have done that better? Listen, we've all been there, striving for that perfect game. Well, what if there was a way to pinpoint exactly where you shine and where you can grow every time you run? I'm excited to introduce to you the DM Diagnostic, a checklist of 15 skills I think every DM needs to run a great RPG session. This isn't just a checklist, it's your personal guide to becoming the incredible game runner you aspire to be. Before we jump in, if you like DM tips, world building ideas, and resource reviews with an old school vibe, consider subscribing to the channel. Now let's take a look at the 15 skills every dungeon master can get better at. So before I jump into the 15 skills, let me just share two things. Number one, this tool isn't about judging your worth as a dungeon master or game runner. It's about empowering you to gain self-awareness and continuously improve your craft. The second thing is, depending on the system you're using, all of these skills may not apply, so adjust accordingly. And the third thing is, some skills could be grouped together, but I have separated them out to bring more attention to them. Let's go ahead and dive in. The first skill I want to improve in is rules knowledge, familiarity with the core rules. I've done it many times where I've not just had one book open, but several books open. And now we got people on their phones Googling things. And so having a sense of the core rules, the main core rules for me is something I want to improve in. I want to make sure I know what the rule is when I need to know it. You know, something that was really cool, what that Pathfinder had, they had these Pathfinder cards, which were rules reference flashcards. And so I do this today where I'll take index cards and I'll write down the most important rules, the ones that I can't remember most of the time, whether that's about grappling or horses or whatever it may be, and make sure they're available at the table so I can quickly just look at them and then be able to relay what the rule is. I don't want my ignorance of the rule to slow down the game or kill momentum. The second skill I want to improve in is rules consistency, the ability to apply rules the same way across sessions and players. And I know I've done this in the past where I've applied a rule to one person, but I did not apply it to the other person who was in a similar situation. I just don't want to frustrate players who want to do their cool thing, but I misapply the rule in their case, but not in someone else's. The third skill I want to improve in is time to dice. In other words, the amount of time it takes before players are actively engaging with the mechanics, rolling dice, using abilities, etc. And I'm not counting the time that you're spending, BSing and, eating pizza and whatever you're doing. I'm talking about from the time that I say, now, where did we leave off? Or where do we find ourselves? And it doesn't have to be a situation where you're in combat using dice. It could be role play where you're trying to persuade or intimidate. I just know that the people around my table have come to roll dice, and I want to get them to that point as quickly as possible. The fourth skill that I would like to improve in is character integration. How well I can weave players into the ongoing story. Now, I'm not talking about writing large, backstories for characters, things like that. Very simple things. If somebody was a former city guard, if there's a cleric in the group, well, I want to make sure, there's a temple there that maybe they can interact with, or there's other temple guards, or maybe there's a law situation where the party's in trouble and maybe the dwarf who was the city guard can maybe smooth things out. I want to try to use whatever the players are going to give me to weave together that story that at the end is going to be very satisfying. They're going to be in a world that feels very lived in. The fifth skill I'd like to improve upon is NPC Depth. Are the NPCs memorable, distinct, and meaningful to the players? And you can never really tell how many NPCs you're going to have. You never know what the players are going to do, who they're going to talk to, the market person or nobleman or whatever it could be. I want my main NPCs, the ones that I'm going to create that are part of the adventure, I want them to be interesting. I want them to become endeared to the party. So if anything should happen to them, it would make the party sad if that NPC were gone. Or maybe I might be able to fool the players, and the NPC could wind up becoming the big bad. The sixth skill I'd like to improve in is combat pacing, keeping battles moving without dragging or feeling rushed. I think we've all been there where you feel like combat has just been too long or it's been too easy for the players. I don't think it's a matter of balance as much as it is the DM knowing when to either beef up the monster or lower the hit points a little bit. And I'm not saying to make it easier. I'm just saying that, look, if a barbarian lands an epic blow or a critical hit, maybe that finishes it off. Maybe it's just done. And I like to get better at measuring those types of combats when it's time to say, that's enough, or hey, no, this needs to go a little bit longer. The seventh skill I'd like to get better at is narrative pacing, avoiding excessive downtime, exposition. I just want to keep the adventure going. There was this one time that I coerced a group to go shopping because I wanted to see if there was anybody in the group that was willing to maybe go shopping, hadn't spoken up, wanted to go search the town. And I had worked hard on the town, not going to lie, and I kind of pushed them that way. Well, they didn't want to go that way really, but they did it because I kind of led them that way. And really they wanted to just get on with it. They wanted to move on to the next phase. They wanted to get in the boat and go to the place and fight the thing. And I got in the way of that. So I don't want any of my preferences to get in the way of the adventure moving forward. Skill number 8 I'd like to improve in: scene transitions. Smooth handoffs from scene to scene. And whether that's coming out of combat into downtime, or coming out of downtime into combat, or switching from encounter to encounter, I just want the changes to make sense. I don't want it to feel like, I jerked the steering wheel and now suddenly they're here. I'd like some smooth transitions so players and their characters don't feel like they're experiencing adventure whiplash. Skill number 9 I'd like to improve in: player spotlight balance, ensuring that all players get moments of significance across sessions. Now, I will say that I am partial to this one. Maybe I feel like I do a better job than I think I do, but I'm very conscious when somebody is kind of sitting in the background and I want to kind of bring them up front. If they want to be brought up front, I want to give them an opportunity to shine if they want to. So I'm always looking for a character that comes up with that idea or decides to charge into battle. Especially if nobody else is doing anything, then I'll lean into that person taking action. The 10th skill I'd like to improve in is session flow, efficiently using the time of every session from intro to wrap up. Good session flow to me is when nobody is looking at their watches, when people are not conscious of what time, and when we're done they go, wait, that's it? We're done already? So I try to keep an eye out for battle fatigue, when a certain puzzle is starting to frustrate the group, and always asking the question, what do you want to do now? Skill number 11 I want to get better at: player autonomy. I want to encourage player choice and have the world react to those choices they're making. When I was designing my setting of Kriesh, I wanted it to be an open sandbox. I wanted it to be where players could come in, make choices, and infect the environment that is around them. And now that it is my setting that players will be playing in, I'm like, wow, what if they mess that up? Or what if they tear that apart or burn that building down? And that's okay. I just got to give up on that and let them do in the setting what they want to do and let it have an impact the way it should have an impact. Skill number 12 I want to improve is player engagement. I want to keep players attentive and invested. I don't want them getting distracted or disengaged. So that is upon me then to make it interesting. Find new ways to get their attention. Something sparkly over there. Some noise happening over here. Something flies overhead. Or maybe there's a weather condition that they must respond to. Back to the first skill that I want to improve, which is knowing the rules. The less time I have my nose in a book, the more time I'm engaging the players and giving them things to respond to that are around them, or opening doors of opportunity that they can walk through. The 13th skill I want to improve is group dynamics management, and that's handling interplayer conflicts or spotlight hogging. I have to be aware of things like if two players don't like each other or they're fighting over the game plan or the strategy. I have to be aware when a player is just wanting to suck up all the air in the room and they want to be the star of the adventure. And I as a DM have to learn how to rein that back in real time, being as gracious as I can, and then being able to move on to the next beat in the adventure. The 14th skill I want to improve in is reading the table. That means just adjusting the content or tone in response to player nonverbal play. And as I said in the beginning, many of these skills could fall under reading the table, but there are certain instances where all your players may be getting off of work and they're all super tired and you're trying to have this adventure, and maybe you're saying to yourself, maybe we just need to do a little shorter adventure tonight. Instead of going 3 hours, we're going to go 2 hours or 2.5 hours. And yes, you have to read the table if people are getting bored, if they're sitting on their phones. or they're involved in private discussions with other players when the adventure is going on. Those are all things you have to read the table for, and then make a decision how you're going to handle it. The 15th and last skill I want to improve in is post-session review, taking time to reflect or solicit feedback from players after sessions. I can remember many times where my only question was, did everybody have fun? Which is ultimately a great measurement of the game. Did your players have fun? But as a DM, I always have more questions, specifically about these other skills. How did you feel about the pace? How did you feel about your spotlight time? And all these other questions that are wrapped up in these skills. And so using this diagnostic, I can think more, how can I use my review time at the end of a session better? What kind of information do I want to find out? And basically all these skills, the things that I want to get better at, are things I can ask my players about. And in the DM diagnostic, I actually have a special sheet just for players. If you want to hand them a sheet and say, hey, after a 3-month or 6-month campaign, go ahead and hand it and say, guys, I want to get better at this thing. Can you guys be honest about this? Would you just look at this and give me some honest scores on there, how I'm doing in these various aspects of the game? I think players will appreciate a DM who asks those kind of questions. And you may uncover, because maybe some people at your table are not verbal about this, but it may come out where, hey, somebody feels like they're not getting spotlight time. Somebody feels like the pacing is too slow. And they'd never tell you that to your face, but they may tell you on the DM diagnostic. And in finding this out, that's how I would improve, by having conversations with players and seeing what their needs are. You can do it anonymously. People can sign their names if they want. Whichever way you choose to do it, it's got to be one or the other. Some people can't put their names and other people not. You'll eventually, by process of elimination, figure out who that is. So if you want to do it anonymously, you can. Or you say, hey, put your name on it. That way we can have a conversation later. Now, as I said at the beginning, as a DM, you can use this after every session if you want to determine how you did in that session. Be it a session during a campaign or a one-shot, but there are factors. There are factors that go into this. When you're judging yourself, is it a con game versus a home game? What time of day is it? Is everybody tired or everybody wide awake? Is it a paid game versus a free game? Is it a system that leans tactical or narrative? Is it based on the player experience around the table? Is it all noobs? Is it all vets? Is it a combination of newbies and vets? And I throw these factors in there because, once again, it's not about being perfect, it's about making progress. And there are always extenuating circumstances if something maybe didn't go right at the table or the way you wanted it to go. And so don't beat yourself up. Look at the factors that are involved when you're taking this diagnostic, and don't be so hard on yourself every single time. That's not the purpose of the diagnostic. It's not to beat you up. It's to reveal ways that you can improve. It's to reveal ways that I can improve. So listen, if you think this DM diagnostic will help you become a better DM, it is Pay What You Want over on DriveThru. There'll be a link down in the show notes below. So I'd like to hear from you. Which of these skills do you think you need to improve in? Or which of these skills are you totally crushing? Leave me some comments down below. And if you're looking for more DM tips, well, I'll put a playlist right over here. You can check out some more DM tips over there, or you can check out my World of Kriesh right over here. There's a playlist of all kinds of videos of me creating this world of Kriesh and the process I use to do it. But that's it for this video, everyone. Thank you for watching. Thanks for being a part today. Don't forget to hit that thumbs up button. It tells me you like the video and you want more like it. And I will see you all in the next video.